What's up, maniacs? This is episode 26 of Salt Tier Podcast. God dang. This is Soundcasting Network's very own video game podcast where your argument is...
banana hammocks.
It's
always banana hammocks.
Where it's supposedly invalid.
Your argument's invalid. We're right, you're wrong.
Allegedly.
Thanks for joining us on this beautiful, beautiful May day. It's not May Day, but it's a day in May. Get over it. We're coming to you from Studio 212 here in South Lake Union, Seattle, Washington, USA, Earth.
The solar system.
The solar system.
Part of the Milky Way.
Part of the Milky Way.
Fourth
And it's been a tumultuous week. A lot of cool stuff happening. A lot of people in and out of town. We lost AV for a little bit. He went down under.
Oh, is he?
Oh, yeah.
No, he's back.
Shady's back.
He's back now, but we lost
He's
him last
studying
week.
for some important stuff.
He's studying to give knife edge chops is what he's studying.
He's trying to move ahead in this world. So, yeah, good for him.
Trying to make that paper.
But just thank you, maniacs. 26 episodes? That's a lot. And
The
I don't know
show's-
if you're listening on it's probably Facebook at this point, but eventually we're going to get all of our ducks in a row and we're going to be back to iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, Mixer.
Nice.
Mixer.
Nice.
No, it's not Mixer.
Not Mixer.
What's
Spotify.
Stitcher. Thank you, Kat.
I was
Stitcher.
like, are we moving to a new streaming site?
That'd be
'Cause,
cool.
And of course, if you want to stay up to date on
amazing.
everything, on Instagram, we're salt_tierpod. Same thing on Twitter, salt_tierpod. Facebook is
Well,
Salt
you're
Tier
here.
Podcast. Yeah, we're here. And kicking ass. I am Loud and Brown, at Loud and Brown on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to play video games with me, PlayStation Network and Steam and... Oh, what's the last one?
We're gonna put
Battle.net. I am Gross Def with a PH.
we're gonna put Steam in air quotes though.
In air quotes, because I'm not on it very often. Or ever. On to my right, I have...
That's me. Hi.
Like pointing
I
over
don't,
there.
I don't know my right from my left.
It happens every episode. It's fine. If it wasn't you, it'd be one of us.
This room feels backwards, and you're at an angle. So, anyway, it's Rena. Follow me on Twitter at xarenalow or on Instagram at Rena_lock. They didn't have Rena Low available. And that's all I have to say today. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. I'm passing it off to
The
my
save,
right.
the save, yeah, to the right. I was on it this time. The save rings ...
Gotta see the ...
You gotta say it. It's like Tricolor
Crystal
Quest.
Crystal like the champagne.
Yeah, it's like a Tricolor Quest. You gotta say the whole thing.
It's like San Fran.
Yup.
Ooh.
Yup. I haven't really been on too much, but hit me up on Twitter at v-gaming, and at Midlife Comics. I have 2 on there because I have 2 channels. And then that's about it, really. I just been messing around. I'm not really online. And all the way to my far left.
Hello, guys. It's Goon P&W here, your photographer extraordinaire, making waves, getting gigs, staying hydrated, of course. Catch me, Goon P&W, and all of my social media tags, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Steam. Also now on PS4, so play games with me, or hang out, watch me compete in all my social media stuff. So stay tuned. And last but not least, to my right...
It's me, Sage, or Sage Bell, I guess. You go on Twitter, you find me at Sage Bell, you find me on that. What did I do? Oh, Twitch. The tw is all Sage
She's
Bell.
a streamer.
The streamer. Yes, I'll be back streaming very soon. If I get started, I will not lose my list, so I got to get out of that real quick. I have not played any video games in like 2 weeks because I had a girlfriend moving in.
Woo! Congrats.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mucho clapo.
And Charmander, you better believe we're going to talk about BlizzCon. Thanks for chiming in. Also, visit our super producer, Mrs. You. And yes, maniacs, we are graced with the presence of the Regent of Rigatoni.
Or ravioli, whichever
Or
you prefer.
ravioli, whichever you prefer.
The Emperor of Elote.
Emperor Lotte, Prince of Parmesan, and the Sultan of Spaghetti. We got Keith the Boogie in there.
Woo! Thank you, I love you all.
Who finally saw Endgame so we can finally talk
Finally
about
saw
it.
Endgame,
Yeah, now we
so
can actually
all-
talk about it.
But he hasn't seen Game of Thrones, so no spoilers, please.
Okay, so Maniacs, we're going to start off real quick. We got to talk about it. It's a cultural phenomenon. There will be video games about it. So we're going to talk about Endgame just for a second. They're in the billions and billions of dollars worldwide.
They're only like 300 million behind Avatar. It's
Yeah,
kind
and
of
I want it to
ridiculous.
be
They're about to be
Avatar's-
number one.
Yeah, they have to beat Avatar.
They're gonna cross-
Avatar's terrible.
They're gonna cross like $3 billion for real.
Opening week was like I think the highest grossing of any film ever made. Which
you know-
is insane.
I'm going to relate this to video games as well as I can. With games like Smash Brothers and games like Tekken 7, specifically that cast, and Marvel vs. Capcom, all these mashups, and seeing all of these different voices kind of come together, it's incredible. They made these movies. Like Infinity War and Endgame with that kind of a roster to still have a story. So the games I just mentioned, the story you can kind of throw out the window. Like there is a story in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite,
You don't play that game
but
for
that's
the
not
story.
why you play it. And this is kind of like that. It's like if you ever read the comic Joe the Barbarian, it's a kid playing with other action figures and making these little universes. But this exists in one universe, and it took 11 years, 22 movies. And with this kind of a scale, I think it could do better than just movies. I think maybe gaming can get to this point.
I was gonna point out that regardless of this success, it still has not passed GTA 5. GTA 5 is the biggest entertainment thing ever. So this one movie still by itself has not passed Grand Theft Auto 5.
To be honest with you, though, like Grand Theft Auto 5 was an incredible game.
Wait. What? How
Yeah.
do you mean it sold it made $3 billion?
Grand Theft Auto 5 is the biggest single entertainment thing of all time. It's made the most money out of anything, I'm doing air quotes, quote unquote, entertainment related of all time.
It
So
does
so even this movie still did not pass what GTA 5 sold.
There are no microtransactions. That'd be like adding the concessions to the box
But
office
check this out.
numbers.
But check this out. This was like from years ago. This is like since like 2016 it set this record, and it's 2019 now, and nobody's passed it yet.
We're gonna go talk to an intern.
$6 billion fucking dollars.
Good God.
GTA
Yeah.
5.
Yeah,
It
That's
does cross
horrendous.
a lot of
and counting.
cultural, groups.
GTA 5 literally like it targets every demographic.
Yeah.
Every demographic can play that game.
It's like anyone, you can pick it up. You can be 6 years old like I was.
Yeah,
with
but
the
it's-
original.
It's
Grand
on
Theft
everything,
Auto.
too.
I'm
It's all in
surprised though. It's MA. That
Yeah.
an MA game
Oh.
is the highest.
And
Yeah.
on top of that, too, savorings is that their PC port was actually really good.
The PC port was excellent. It is the best version. We had to wait extra long for it, but
But it was
is-
worth it.
Yeah.
It was
So
pretty good.
hold up.
Yeah.
Hodado. How long would you say World of Warcraft was alive and kicking strong? I'm saying
It
5
went
years.
strong for like more than 5 years, probably 8 to 9 years.
You're
It was
saying
strong.
5 year. Okay, I'm gonna say 5. 5 years with how many players, and we're not allowed to count those $15 an hour.
No,
It
wait,
was-
because when did it launch? 2007, right?
No,
No.
wait, like 03.
No, sorry, no.
2004.
2004.
Thank you. So 2004.
It
Let's just
peaked-
say 2004 to 2009.
They peaked at 1 million active subscribers.
So that is
No, I said their peak went up to about 2010 or so.
No,
sure.
but I
we're
mean, like
saying
they
that
peaked at like 1 million is
that's-
what they were talking.
That's them
about.
doing. You said 15 million subscribers.
No, 1 million.
1 million subscribers, and they're all paying $15 an hour.
Yeah.
Oh man,
a month.
What a racket!
They're only the 4th best-selling PC game
Yep.
at
Only.
14 million copies.
But that's copies. I'm saying we're having like a discussion
Oh, I
of entertainment.
And also another thing to consider with that is that probably doesn't include their digital sales either.
Yeah. So
This is
digital
probably just
sales
hard
and
copies.
come on, like we'll get those numbers to you, but
And they also have their own microtransactions.
that has to win. That has to win.
Nope. GTA 5.
Yep.
It's crazy, right? But it's true.
For a game that doesn't even have subscription costs,
Yep.
unless you're on like a console.
And like I said, they set that record in like 2015 or 2016, so it's been there for a while. So everything else since then has just been adding to that.
But in reality, like with taking it back to the original point of the conversation that Loud and Brown brought up is Endgame's been really impressive with how cohesive they've been with every like tying everything together. I mean, a lot of people still have mixed feelings about it, saying like, oh, they didn't have enough action in it, and it
What?
was. And I was like, what are you guys talking about? I think the movie was really well done, and A lot of people are really conflicted, saying that like Infinity War is better than Endgame, but I think the opposite. Like,
Time will tell.
all three, and then like the all of them are better than Age of Ultron because fuck that movie.
Oh, that movie
No.
is. People sleep on that movie.
Nah, that movie's perfectly
Oh,
fine.
there's such good. Joss Whedon knows how to write dialogue.
It's
He knows how to
fine.
write characters.
It's fine.
That scene in the farmhouse. Oh, Steve doesn't like that kind
Dude,
of talk.
the whole
Romanoff.
the whole after party with just the Avengers chilling around trying to pick up the hammer. Like
they've
all that
been
shit.
they've been trying to recreate that kind of emotion since that movie because
Yeah.
that was so impactful.
I think the people that have a problem with emotions and deep storylines and that just want action aren't the ones out here reading the comics. Just going to say that.
Not a lot of the people that watch the MCU really read the comics either. They're pretty casual nowadays.
I mean,
lot
there's
of
no
the
way you can
audience.
make almost $3 billion and it's just the hardcore. So
Yeah.
It's the zeitgeist. It's
Yeah.
like saying video games are for nerds. You're like, well, you're wrong there too.
this
Not
is
anymore,
this is
yeah.
this is just the hardcore thing that's been disseminated for the masses. Like everybody can relate to a movie and to a movie star in a movie. So that just helps them digest what we've been reading on the page for probably all of our lives, most of us here. So, yeah.
And also, and this is gonna be my last point on Endgame, and just the MCU and comic book movies in general, the idea that actors are finite and their contracts don't last forever actually makes the MCU a little more exciting, because yeah, they could recast, but a lot of these roles will not last 30 years.
Here's the thing, though. We're getting to an age where you can CG and people can speak it to a microphone for 20 minutes, and it can completely duplicate that person's voice. You could actually type it in, like, whatever you want that person to say. At some point, I think RDJ, Chris Evans, all those dudes, they're going to, like, sell their likeness to these guys. So, like, maybe in, like, 20 years when they do, like, this big, huge, massive crossover with, like, the X-Men and everybody else they have by then, they can put, like, Prime Captain America in it and just put his face on like a double and just have his words come out of the mouth.
That is a
That's-
possibility.
There's no way I can argue with that.
I
Yeah,
have a
at some
question
point
on that.
that's gonna happen. I think this is like the bridge. These are gonna be those first actors we see like do that, and just have like Tony Stark, RDJ could be Iron Man like 40 years from now in a movie.
Do you think that's what they did with Star Wars?
Oh, with Tarkin in them?
No, with Carrie Fisher.
No,
Yeah.
because they're already being pretty respectful about that and just using footage of her that they filmed from the previous movies and stuff like that. I think they're going to let that one go. I think they just missed it, and I think these
Okay.
MCU movies are going to be those first ones that like do that. That's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to that. I think they're going to do that for real.
I mean,
I think it's uncanny.
I'm giving Star Wars one last chance. Like we'll see how they do.
We'll see.
Sorry for all the jumping around
Yeah,
there, guys.
sorry. What's movies?
So onto the first gaming topic, I guess.
Oh, real quick though.
Wait, you Matlocked me again.
Hold on.
But there is. Oh, is that Columbo or Matlock?
Oh,
there is one more thing.
That's Columbo. He's about to walk away, and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. Just one more thing.
Just one more thing.
Yeah.
Okay, you Columboed me. Go
Yeah.
ahead, say things.
Keep in mind that Square Enix is working on a cohesive Marvel cinematic video game universe, and they've been working on those games for like going on 3 or 4 years now. I was expecting
Really?
them to say something back at last E3, but they didn't.
Oh, you mean State of Play?
So, huh?
You mean State of Play? What happened with the PS4 just recently?
Oh yeah, that was terrible. Those are terrible. But no, there's going to be right now. Square Enix is working on something, and they're working on several Marvel games that are all going to take place in their own Marvel video game universe. So that's something to watch out for E3. Nobody's talking about. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Anyway,
Ooh. Moving on, we're gonna send this over to Goon because you getting some work.
I've been grinding, not in a competitive sense, but in a photography working sense.
All right, give the maniacs a little. Wait. Oh yeah, IG. You're just Goon PNW also, right?
Yep.
And before we even start talking about this, are you gonna make a separate account for the photography stuff?
No, I figured I would just keep it as I've transitioned it fully basically into esports photography and competitive
That makes sense
stuff.
because you do all the talking on Twitter, and then the pictures can be on Instagram.
Yeah, the only time I use Instagram is when I'm posting like pictures of like events that I did.
Yeah.
And then like a couple pictures of me competing, but that's very little. The meat and bones or meat and potatoes now is the photography for esports.
Word. So
I like the meat and bones better.
yeah.
Meat and bones, yeah. I should have just kept rolling with it.
Tell the maniacs what you got coming up.
So I recently, last year I did photography work for Northwest Majors, which is a major that we have up here for fighting games, and I got that connection through a buddy of mine named Dennis. He is really big in the scene and knew about my photography skills and wanted me to do stuff for those
We've
majors.
had him.
Yeah. And he wanted me, and the owner of NWM wanted me to come back this year to do photography, so I did. And they really liked the stuff that I did, and I was very well received by everyone, and I was pretty happy about that. Everyone gave me praise and was like really nice to me, so that was kind of endearing. Kind of wanted to cry a little bit.
You got kudos. You got kudos.
Lots of kudos. So I inquired about the Pinnacle, which is a major coming up in July in Vancouver, Canada. So I just shot an email out. I say, hey. I would be interested in shooting some stuff for Pinnacle if you guys are interested. Here's my portfolio. Like I'm really big in the Seattle FGC. Like you can ask around for me if you guys have any, like need any like references or vouches. Like anyone will vouch for me. And then they literally responded to me within a day, and they're like, "Yeah, we want you. Like we'll pay for your for your refunded ticket and stuff like this. Like
Nice.
just come shoot for us." I'm like, "Cool."
Nice.
So I'm hoping to get more gigs like that. This is a good step because I've done a bunch of stuff in Seattle, but I want to do stuff more like outside.
Sure, yeah.
I tried Evo, but I talked to Julio. I forgot his last name, but he's the business dev for Evo. And he says the only way I would have any opportunity to do anything for the arena portion of Evo, which is the Sunday event, is I have to be sponsored by a company that they are in collaboration with.
Like a partner.
Mm-hmm.
Got
Okay.
it. Okay.
So basically Sunday, there's no photos, there's no photography allowed that's not sanctioned by Evo. So you can't bring your camera into the arena.
Okay.
Oh,
You're
wow.
not allowed to.
But what if you're a salttier? What? What if you're a salttier partner?
I wish. That'd be
Salttier
tight, right?
sending.
Don't
Salttier
you know who I
sending
am?
3 people to Evo. Thank you very much.
I'm from the Soundcasting
But-
Network. Damn it.
So from what I understand with what Julio told me is that he said they turned down major companies. Like they've turned down ESPN, they've turned down Kotaku, they've turned down PC Gamer and a bunch of other people.
They turned down Kotaku.
I
No.
wonder why.
No.
Oh.
But they basically like they're only working with people that they like, basically. So Arc Systems, Bandai Namco, Capcom, those companies, they get photographers in there, or other people that are associated with esports in some way. Like they hired the official photographer for Overwatch League as Evo's primary photographer for the Sunday event, and he's been doing it for like the past couple years. So, but that's what I've been doing. Besides competing, I really like taking pictures of the pop-offs, and people are starting to take notice. So I'm pretty excited.
And the crushing defeats. Those are good shots
Yeah,
too.
the crushing defeats, including my own crushing defeat,
Which was actually photographed
that Rena
by-
actually
Whatever.
photographed of me.
You finished like what? Like you
I
said
finished
9.
9.
Out of how many people?
Like 60 something.
Man, you're fine. You're fine. Good shit.
Yeah.
Congratulations for real.
Oh, thanks.
So
For real.
not to belittle your performance in Northwest Majors, but whenever anybody from the Northwest goes to Evo, it's not about like, hey, trying to make the Sundays. Like, dude, step 1, make it out of pools, because depending on which pool you're at, it gets really, really rough. For example, I think every single pool is Street Fighter, and this is Street Fighter 4 when they had double the entrance than any other game. Like this is
keep in mind for Evo too. Like if there's a lot of entrants, you making it out of pools. You usually have 2 wave of pools before you hit top 64.
Yeah, it's rough, right?
Yeah.
But even when I was in, and Street Fighter had like what, 4,000, 5,000, something like that.
Something like that. I don't
It
remember.
was a lot, but every single pool had a sponsored or pro player in it, and they apparently spent like a week trying to comb out the thing and make sure there were no hell groups
Or death pools is what they call
or
it.
death pools. Because so Maniacs, to explain a little more, and Goon can back me up on this a little bit, other tournaments will have seeding due to points in leagues and Capcom
Statistics,
Pro Tour and
basically your
statistics.
statistics.
Because if you've been playing professional games your entire life, professionally, you don't have to drop in on a Friday at 8 a.m. and have to fight jackasses like me. But at Evo, it's open entries, and it's like, no, everybody starts at pools, and it's a equalizer.
Yeah, no one gets buys.
No one gets a bye because do they give a bye for last year's champion?
Nope.
No,
Everyone starts at
damn.
ground zero.
You start
So
fresh.
I had a buddy from that had Like not Chris G. He had a. Oh my God, that Cammy player. He's so mean.
There's a lot of those.
I know, but
I know.
He's very, very
Can you be
notable.
more specific?
Anyway, he had him in there. I'm like, dude, that guy's been sponsored for like 5 years. He's like, well, luckily 2 people make it out of every pool. He's like, well, that's one. And then there was like this top dude from like England. He was like, well, he's not pro, but he wins.
Does he
all
play-
the
does he
Euro
play Dudley?
champs.
He's pretty
And
good.
those are the 2 people he lost to. I was like, well, hell. I had one person that was sponsored in my group. That's it. And another person that had a lot of like NorCal meetups and footage of him, but he wasn't like endorsed by anybody. And those are 2 people I lost to.
Basically, seeding is very important when it comes to fighting games because you don't want to put all the pros into one pool because at that point it's basically like the tournament ends with whoever gets out of that pool because they're going to beat every Joe Schmo that they walk into by the time the finals are up.
Well, all I'm saying, Goon, is I hope you're using this as a springboard to network until you get into commentating because that's what you should be doing.
Absolutely. I love commentating.
Well,
I've been
that's-
commentating.
that's what
on
you should
stage.
I think you should be
doing.
doing both.
Yeah, I'm
Photography
trying.
and commentary.
Yeah.
Why do one?
Yeah. So
We
so,
can do
so go ahead.
BOF.
I compete,
both.
commentate, and take pictures.
Okay, yeah. So I hope on some level you're like, I'm going to do that too because I want to hear you commentate. So
I've done commentating for the monthlies quite a lot, so I have.
Yeah.
I've been trying to put together a highlight reel, but I need more footage of me first before I do that.
so we'll do that.
Gotta get a tripod and just like take videos of yourself. Hey, by the way, what is the next thing you're shooting?
The Pinnacle 2019 up in July. I shoot the monthlies all the time, but I don't really talk about that much because it's just the monthlies. So,
So
It's
Pinnacle.
just the monthlies.
That's
but
gonna be cool.
I don't think I have time to really take pictures at the monthlies
was-
because I commentate now.
I was thinking
Oh,
we
there
could
you go.
bring
Never
our
mind. You're already on it.
English friend up to Canada because it'll be during that time.
Oh, our buddy Claire is thinking of coming. She says she doesn't know yet.
Okay.
She's thinking of coming in July.
Well, cool. We'll get that, and you know what?
The one that was here on the show?
Yeah, no, that was here. Yeah, that one time.
Yeah.
Remind me, I'm gonna get some salttier gear going and get you a patch to just throw on a baseball cap, and everybody has to see us when you're on commentary. Yeah,
Let's go.
salttier goon.
Let's go.
And let's move on. And
Ooh, we got
yeah,
a nice topic.
we're gonna get to
coming
a
up.
juicy topic, and hopefully this doesn't take too long because
Oh, this is gonna be a long
yeah,
one.
no,
This is gonna be a long
Save
one.
Rings and I jumped into this, over a year ago when we had a different name for this podcast, and there is a very sore subject with video games and movies. There haven't been any real killers out there, and a lot of bad ones. You will.
Mostly bad.
Real
You ball.
shitty.
Mostly awful.
So, Maniacs, a movie came out, and I'm going to sling this over to Sage Bell because I watched the movie due to her birthday
Birthday! Happy
party.
birthday!
What movie came out?
So we're talking about Detective Pikachu.
Woo!
I managed to get 18 people to come to the theater with me and watch this.
I saw the picture on Facebook and I was like, what are you guys
It was
saying again?
dope.
Yeah.
It's like 20 of you. Like, what are you saying?
Detective Pikachu was a dope movie.
so good.
I was
So-
actually really impressed.
One of my best friends was with us, and all of us could probably hear her. Derek was next to her. She was just like screaming a little bit every time she saw Pikachu. She's like, "It's so cute!"
One of our friends literally cried once the credits started rolling.
boy.
So-
Reagan was just in tears the entire time, and it was so
Oh,
precious.
boy.
Recently engaged, right?
Yeah, she
Yes,
was recently
recently
engaged.
engaged.
Oh, I can relate. Woot woot.
Ooh, congratulations again.
Thank you.
I do have a fun note for you guys, since we talked about Endgame briefly.
So,
Detective Pikachu beat out Endgame just barely this weekend with 103 million versus 102 million.
Yeah, I thought you guys were talking
Domestically.
about.
that's a today.
That's opening weekend. So yeah,
Yeah.
as of today, basically.
Domestically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Odie.
Okay.
That's awesome.
No, that's an international.
No.
Ooh.
Among international box offices.
Oh, wow.
But there's a primary reason why we're bringing this up. Because we all know that most video game movies, if not all, have had a bad rap with how-
Truth.
just with how the story and the plot has been.
So you know me, I'm all about positivity. Hi, Loud and Brown again. I'm gonna start this off on a light note and talk about the pros, because
You have cons? I
I
have
have con-
zero cons. I loved it.
no, we're talking
great.
about video
Video
game,
game
like
movies.
other video
Oh,
game movies.
I thought we were just talking about.
So let's talk
Pikachu.
about pros now. So video game movies have come
gonna
around.
say.
A lot of them failed, but there are shining beacons of hope. The Resident Evil movie had the right city. It had the look and feel of a horror movie. It had star power.
I
Had
give them
Mila Jovovich.
A horror movie?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
I gave them props because they took the premise of Resident Evil and then made an original story.
They did, but they got put it this way. Before that, what we had, we'll talk about the negs later. We had other examples that did not live up to the game. This one had the T-virus. They had quote-unquote zombies. They had zombie dogs. They had evil corporations. Because the lead character shouldn't matter that much at this point, because by the time this movie came out, we already had Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, and Code Veronica by then, right? I don't think 4 was out yet.
Code Veronica is the most slept on Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
pretty good.
We talked about that in another podcast. It was because that was supposed to be 3.
Yes.
And they were bound to a PlayStation 1 contract
Yes.
and had to make a Resident Evil 3 for that, which was actually just a hacked Resident Evil 2 that they threw out in 6 months. Like,
Yep.
here's a story. Code Veronica was supposed to be the great one.
That's
I'm saying is...
That's a game I bought my Dreamcast specifically
you go.
to play.
But what I'm saying is the lead characters don't matter as much as the world that they live in. You know, Resident Evil, you have Jill and Chris. Resident Evil 2, you have Leon and Claire.
They're in there.
Yeah.
They're in the movies.
Yeah,
they are.
2. They're in
They're
2.
portrayed very differently, but they're there.
Yeah, they're there.
You know, and then Jill Valentine shows up in 2 also. But with the first one being names that you don't recognize, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's basically the plot of Resident Evil 2. I remember when I picked it up, I'm like, where'd Jill go? Who's this little rookie cop
Alice
running around?
And then they introduced Alice.
And it was
to the
so, you
video,
know,
which-
Alice, why not? Why wouldn't they be working on a superhuman? I mean, that's the T-virus was working on super soldiers. So anyway, that was a positive. Mortal Kombat,
Hold
I
on.
know. Oh, what?
I'm
Okay.
gonna let you finish saying anything about it. Resident Evil, that whole series is by far my favorite video game movies. And they don't have to. You're right. They don't have to be accurate. They don't have to be the greatest movies. But they get like the aura of
They're
Resident
digestible.
Yes, and they get the aura of Resident Evil correctly.
They're
Like,
very.
maybe the action and maybe some of the styling is not Resident Evil, but they get the general
They're
like feeling
fun.
of
Yeah.
dread. They're fun. They're kind of goofy, just like the game is. They're a little over the top.
They're very okay. Like,
Yes.
Those movies are very okay. They're
Yeah.
not bad. They're,
Yeah.
If you're
they're
going to do
not
a
great.
50-50,
And the
I
other-
give a thumbs up and not a thumbs down.
Yeah, and the other thing with it is they know they're cheesy, and they know they just embrace it and they just go with it, and it works for them. So
And also
I like them.
they always update the graphics. So
Yeah.
with its iteration,
I give those movies a
can
pass.
rewatch it.
Yep.
Those
Same.
Resident Evil movies are my movie guilty pleasure. Like everybody
yeah.
has like a guilty pleasure movie series or a movie. Those are mine.
They're
Like, I watch
basically
all
like
those.
B movies that made the box office.
Yeah.
And so when people are like, "Oh, that's not so great," I'm like, "Have you watched a B film? Well, just put it on that level."
Perfect amount of fan service and like stupid action,
And a
but
little
still
bit of
like
camp.
yes,
Yeah.
but still very Resident Evil. Got the T-virus, got the characters at least by name, and like most of them look pretty accurate. Like
Yeah.
you know?
They don't act like the characters'
Yeah,
personalities, but they look.
But they
accurate.
look it and they kick ass. So you're just like, cool, all right.
The other ones I'm going to go by a little more quickly. Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat 1 was good.
Mortal Kombat 1, as a fighting game person, after Street Fighter, I'll talk about that later. After Street Fighter, we got a bad taste in our mouth a little bit, and then Mortal Kombat came out, and we were like, okay, it's not rated R, but they got a lot of the idea around.
Mortal Kombat 1 was good. Annihilation was kind of a dumpster fire,
Terrible.
but 1
But
was good.
Mortal Kombat was good.
Annihilation was like a USA channel movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically.
And then,
but by default, the first Mortal Kombat is by default the best comic book movie. I mean, the best video game movie. Like
Yeah,
if
I
you
haven't
weigh
seen
it
it.
kind of like against all the rest, like it is kind of by default like the number one.
it was very successful.
It's up
Yeah.
there. So yeah,
When people think of Mortal Kombat, they think of the song from the movie, not from
Yep.
the game.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Collider Videos did a whole huge bracket of video game movies, and by default, Mortal Kombat, it just defaulted its way and won. Like, that's just how it went. Like, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And moving on, and the next ones I'm going to move even quicker because we need to get to the second part of this, which is going to be a lot rougher. Again, fighting games. This didn't do that well at all, but if you understand the tone of Dead or Alive,
I never
and
saw
then
this
you
one.
watch the movie, you're like, I have to explain to people, it's like, you're not watching the Legend of Zelda movie.
No.
You're not watching Last of Us.
You're watching a
movie.
fan servicey fight movie.
A fan service fight game made a fan servicey fight movie, and they got Jamie Priestley in it, and they got Devon Aoki, and they got some.
And Jamie Priestley is super cute. Like
She's
I like,
freaking.
I love her to death. But it's
her
a Dead or-
casting was
it's-
brilliant.
It's a Dead or Alive movie though, so it's
It wasn't supposed. It's not supposed to
sounds
go
bad
like
to
win
say.
awards.
It sounds
Like,
bad to say, but like, it's Dead or Alive? Like, where's the jiggle? It's Dead or Alive. Come on.
It matched. Yeah, it matched.
I don't want to see no fucking collarbones in fucking Dead or Alive. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
It definitely looked like a Victoria's Secret model
Yeah,
running
they
on
look
the
more
beach,
like-
and I was real confused why they weren't fighting a lot.
Yeah, it was more like
But-
Victoria's Secret angels fighting and
Yeah.
instead
It
of, like-
was.
But
Yeah.
aside from all of that, it's Dead or Alive.
It
as a
matched the
movie.
tone.
yeah, it
It
did
matched
match
the
the
tone.
tone very well.
And then, of course,
But
the
I
one we got
never
to
saw it.
talk about that was actually a critical and financial success. Warcraft.
It was.
Yes.
Yes.
It made
That movie did-
tons of
surprised
money,
that it was
and the fans
well
loved it.
done.
It just came out 5 years too late.
No,
God, 10 years too late.
and here's the thing: is like, yeah, it probably could have cashed in a little bit more. But here's the thing: over here, it made about $130 million, which doesn't sound a whole lot, but it was made on about a $200 million budget. But it made about $500 million
Internationally?
foreignly.
Box office?
Yeah. So together, it made about $700 million on $150 million, $200 million budget. And also, the thing I really did like about that movie was it stuck to the lore. Like, that movie plot fits into the lore of the game. Like,
And the special effects were great.
for what it was good. So it was what I wanted to see. Was it the best movie? No, but
Yeah.
Not-
very
not at all.
entertaining, and it was the lore.
And
was-
lastly,
it was
I got to
the
bring
game.
this up. And this is like probably the black sheep. This is going to be the hardest. You know how all these other movies I've been saying are
Yeah.
probably like 60%, 55%, 70% good. This next movie is probably 51% positive because so many people didn't really like it. And it didn't do well at all. It performed poorly. But Max Payne is a really good video game movie.
A lot of
They got
plot
Mark
holes.
Wahlberg.
I never watched it.
But Mark
Haven't
Wahlberg,
seen it.
Mark Wahlberg tried his best to be Max.
He tried his best. I like the way they used the drug in it and made the bullet time.
I personally think the latest iteration of Tomb Raider's movie was better than Max Payne.
But here's the thing, though, with
I
Max Payne, it doesn't
love
matter
Tomb Raider.
what its legacy is. Like, besides like what people think of it, the movie, the video game, it introduced an entirely almost like new genre to video games and entertainment in general with the whole slow down bullet time. Even though John Woo had been doing that before too, this was the first one that like brought gamers into it and made movies want to emulate that from a game.
The Wachowskis, there's no way the Wachowskis didn't play Max Payne and get that idea. There's
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
agree.
way. Max Payne came out in like what, 97? Something like that. And The Matrix
For
won.
because Max Payne came out on PS2 and it was like 2001, 2002. It was pretty.
Yeah, it was already out on PC though.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
came out in the 90s.
It did not come out in the 90s, did it?
I think so.
The first Max Payne?
The first Max Payne.
Well,
yeah.
because
let's
Max
see.
Payne 2 came out. Oh, you know what? I'm totally wrong.
2001.
Okay.
What's good?
I'm super wrong. Damn, then.
That was the same year
Okay,
as
the
Call of Duty
Wachowskis
and
came
stuff.
up with bullet time. So Max Payne was like one of the first games to cash in
on bullet time.
Other way around.
Yep.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Sorry, Wachowskis. You done did it. And like we said, Tomb Raider. And those are my positives. And then
I
I'm
think,
gonna go.
I think
But-
Rena has something
yeah.
to say.
Yeah, what's up? What's up?
Tomb Raider 2017. I think it
The
came out.
recent one.
Yeah.
The reboot.
Reborn. Super well done. I highly recommend watching it, and that's from someone who played both the original games and the Reborn series, and it's followed very closely. They made the costume and resold it, and I know she also plays it.
It came out in 2018.
Okay. Yeah. I've been
Wait.
following it for a long time.
The movie?
The
Yeah,
movie
the
came out in
movie.
2018. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
With Alexis Vanderloos,
Yes.
whatever her
Yes.
name is.
Alicia
Alicia Vanderloos.
Vikernes?
But good for all of them.
Vikings?
Now we get onto the the other side of the coin. And Maniacs, video game movies are sometimes made poorly. And I didn't even...
Just
We
sometimes.
have a whiteboard that we use in the studio that kind of helps me deal with things because I like to have things laid out and visual. And for the cons of video games... Okay, hold on. Savoring's going to Columbo me again. Go ahead.
But
It's on the board.
I got one more question. Angry Birds is actually a very good comic book movie. I can't want to say comic book movie.
Yeah, we were
a
talking
video
about
game
comic
movie. Angry Birds actually is a really
Solid.
good.
I heard
video
it was
game
funny.
movie. I
Jason
liked it a lot.
Sudeikis, right?
Yeah, and it didn't dumb it down. It was still cool. Like my kids liked it, but it was written like I got it too. And there was like little subtle jokes in it too. Like the singles bar was next to the fertility clinic, and that was next to a fucking daycare. Like that shit cracked me up when I saw that shit. My kid was totally over my kid's head. So it's a good movie. I did like Angry Birds.
I slept on it. I'll check it out.
It's good.
And
It's worth
and
a
part
watch.
2 is Green Lantern's coming out.
Good.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
So moving on. And I'm gonna kick this to. We're gonna start with It's Katarina because we need to hear more of It's Katarina tonight because I think you've seen some bad video game movies in your life, and you're kicking it off.
Bad video game movies that I can think of. Oh, how about not the first Tomb Raider film but the second.
With Angelina Jolie, the second one.
Was it the time travel one?
I blacked
It's the
it
one
out.
where the artwork, she's in like a silver wetsuit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It involved like time travel.
And she basically fights El Diablo from Suicide Squad at the end. Isn't that basically?
Yep.
That was pretty weak. And she had like fake boob, like
Yeah.
Like padding?
She had
Padding.
the Laura Croft fake boobs. Yeah.
she went into the tissue box.
She already had double D's.
If
like,
they should have just went for the original like content and just made it like a
yeah.
really pointy polygon boob.
I
Madonna
figured out
boobs.
how to do that.
They should have just put in the fucking
yeah.
nude code and got it over with.
Right. Hey, Saverings, is there a video game movie you disliked?
Yeah, there's a few.
You only could say
Most
one.
of them.
Top of the chain.
The one that I hated the most.
Yeah, or something on the top 5 of the most.
Okay. I'll put it this way. It's not based on any direct video game, but it is a video game movie.
Oh, I hate when you do this.
The main
but go
thing in the
ahead.
game. Have you ever seen Fear.com?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's like a game that they played, and
Okay.
it is the stupidest fucking video game.
probably
That was
bad.
the one with Frankie Muniz, right?
I think
Yeah.
so.
I'm going to give you a pass on that and
I thought you were gonna
adapted
talk
from a
about the
video
an-
game.
Okay.
Yeah.
What movie?
That's the worst one.
I know.
I haven't
What?
really seen too many of like.
Oh, do I
The
have
newer
shit
ones.
for you?
What
As
about
far as, like, the bad
Pac-Man
ones?
one?
No, go
Okay,
back.
okay. I'll put this one number 1 because it was a wasted opportunity. You know what? I'll just say Nintendo because the first Super Mario Brothers wasted opportunity.
There you go.
And we were talking about Detective Pikachu earlier, and I played Pikachu as a grown man. I was a grown man in the '90s, and I played that shit. My kids are super into Pokemon right now, and as a family, we're not going to go see that movie. So to me, that's already like, and I get it. People enjoyed it. I'll catch it on home. I'll stream
That's
it.
more of a censorship kind of a thing.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
still, it's just like.
It's not about quality.
I know,
but
because I haven't seen it, so I can't speak on its quality. You guys liked it, so you know. But
What are you
the,
saying?
the one I disliked the most probably is the original Mario
Super
Brothers
Mario
one,
Brothers was rough.
and not because it's.
Do you know the history of why it was like that, by
yeah,
the way?
yeah,
I don't.
It was just Nintendo just kind of like trusted too much in the Hollywood system and figured that they'd do this thing. They didn't have a lot of oversight with it. They kind of signed away their rights just to make it.
Oh, it's one of those.
And that's why they kind of like kept it so close for like 30 years because they
was
were like,
that first, or was the Double Dragon movie first?
I don't even know.
Double Dragon movie had Alyssa Milano. Hey, it's the best part about the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember
She usually is
another
the best
one.
part of whatever she's in.
And they basically recreated the Foot Clan clubhouse from Ninja Turtles 1 in the Double Dragon movie because it was such a popular scene in the original Ninja Turtles that all of a sudden the Shadow Ninjas or whatever they call them, they had their bad boy clubhouse. I'm like, this is just... It's like a mix between Lost Boys from The Hook and the Foot Clan hangout. It was
Nice.
both. I'm like, you're just stealing from... It might have been the same set.
Yeah, it probably was. It could have been just to recycle. But yeah, I'd have to say my least favorite is that first Mario Brothers because it was a wasted opportunity. They could have done a lot with it, and they kind of fucked that up.
Goon, P&W.
House of the Dead.
Ooh.
Haven't seen that
Is
one
that you,
either.
Bull?
The Yui Bowl movie.
Oh, jeez. How? Well, okay, so Maniacs, if you know about the House of the Dead, it is an arcade gun con shooter. You have an actual gun that goes click, click, click in your hand.
You have to reload it.
You have to reload it and shoot the screen. It's like infrared, right?
Yeah.
It's infrared based, and you're shooting a screen. It's not there for story. Technically, if there are guns and zombies, it's
It's just there for you to waste quarters into at the arcade.
Yeah.
Like it's
So-
like a social thing.
How bad does this movie have to
Oh
be
my god, that movie was absolute trash.
to make such a broad concept bad?
Well, first of all, it was picked up by Yui Bowl, and he is the godfather of shitty video game movies. He literally buys every type of IP from video games and tries to make a movie out of it. He made Blood Rain. He made Far Cry. Both movies were absolutely terrible. But they gave it a plot that wasn't there. But on top of that, they gave it like a teenage slasher film plot. So if you guys have ever seen House of the Dead, that movie was absolutely terrible. I don't recommend you waste an hour and 10 minutes of your time watching that movie.
There's got to be, there's got to be a way to watch it. Like, is there an MS3K version?
No.
Because I'd watch that.
You can go. I mean, you can go watch it. You can buy the DVD for like $1.50. I'm sure somewhere. Like
They'll pay you $1 to take the DVD off of it. Okay.
You know they made a sequel?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How about no? I don't want that.
moving on.
But Sage, how about you? What is your most disliked video game movie?
I know, I've had the longest time to think about it, and then I realized what I was thinking of was not even a video game movie. It was just a poorly done movie.
Oh.
Want to list it
What
anyway?
was it? Now that I'm now,
It
now I'm all
was-
curious.
I really disliked Aeon Flux.
Oh.
I enjoyed it as
You know
a
what?
kid.
You know
but
what? That
I can't
counts
rewatch
because
it.
there was Aeon Flux video
Yeah.
games.
There
It
was
was
an
on-
Aeon
It was
Flux
on the
video.
PlayStation 1.
Yeah, I went to look, and it was just like, the anime, and I was like, that what? Ah, dang it.
Charlize Theron. Theron.
Charlize Theron.
So,
I-
no other
I
video
also-
game movies hurt your heart?
I mean, I generally didn't know a lot of movies or video game movies as a kid because I wasn't allowed to play video games as a kid.
Word.
Teenage
Okay.
Mutant Ninja Turtles,
So is that
the
a-
remake.
That wasn't a video game. It was originally
Yeah,
a
but
Is
it's
that a
also a bad
pass?
movie.
Then?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movies were really good.
The remake. The remake.
Oh,
remakes
I
are
haven't seen the
fine.
remake.
Oh,
Remakes are
you
fine.
mean the new ones, the Michael
Yeah.
Bay ones?
The,
Yeah.
the
I
Megan
act-
Fox.
I actually like those.
Same.
Yeah.
From
I don't
people
like
that watched
them.
the first two
Yeah.
in the theaters.
Because the turtles were basically the turtles, and Megan Fox. If you put her in something where she doesn't have to like go past like her actual skill level, she's fine in it. So if you don't really want her to be like an Oscar trying to win an Oscar actress, she's fine in the movie. And as April, she was fine. So I like.
It
those
wasn't her
movies.
as April. It was how they looked. Because I like the originals.
I didn't think they looked half
too,
bad.
but it was fine once I realized that hey, those are the turtles. That's how Mikey talks. That's how
And
Raphael
also,
talks.
yeah, I also liked how much character they put into the different turtles.
Yeah,
We talked about this like a couple episodes ago. I'm gonna throw a number out there and say I backed that movie.
I was
up
fine
in
with it.
Episode 11. or
And
something.
Splinter actually kicked ass in those movies.
Exactly.
So it was fine.
Instead of the one nunchuck move. So now that it's back to me, I also had a lot of time to think about this and didn't really think of anything yet.
What's up?
But yeah, I would have to say Street Fighter hurt my heart when that movie came out because at the
Don't
end
do
of the
this
day,
to me.
No way.
Don't do this
at
to
the
me,
end of the
man.
day, that was my favorite. Well, I played Street Fighter more than anything, and it's not. Once again, it's a wasted opportunity. It hit a couple of the right notes. Like some of the castings were amazing. You got.
There are way worse
You
movies
got-
that are
Dude,
video game
Street
made.
Fighter was
I'm not saying it's the
good.
worst. I'm saying that's the one I'm gonna bring up. I am not gonna give that a thumbs up.
No. Give a thumbs down to the Legend of Chung Li. Get that
Yes.
shit out of you. Like Street
Yes.
Fighter,
That-
the original with John
Yes.
Claude Van Damme. No.
Yeah,
Chun Li.
Dude, the first Street Fighter movie is that's a
Chun Li
thumbs
and
up.
wasn't a member of the Black Eyed Peas, Vega.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had Kristen
Will.i.am.
Crook from Smallville play Chung Li, which makes no sense.
And then
she's
that
not
scene when she's doing the spinning star kick, like in the commercial, that right there made me not want to see that movie.
It
She's
was
doing the
bad.
spinning star. I was like, oh my god, no.
Nope.
It was rough.
That's
but
Lana
okay,
Lang.
so what I mean is, when I first saw the first Street Fighter movie, I was young, I was a teenager, and camp was not in my mindset yet. I didn't understand that
okay,
was.
okay.
But also, that movie wasn't trying to be camp. That movie was trying to be a blockbuster movie. It'd be different. Like I said, DOA made a campy action movie, and it was fun. You know, do you see what I mean by the difference now? Like Street Fighter had this whole agenda of like beating Bison because he's evil, and you're like laughing at it, but I wasn't when it came out because I'm like, this sucks. Dalsum doesn't even look like Dalsum.
Yeah, I didn't
Blanca
like that
is
either.
not Charlie. That's not how the story
No, I didn't
works.
like that either. Yeah.
And Van Damme never gave a sonic boom.
He did the flash kick though.
He did the flash kick. But even back then, I knew that was a Korean actor playing Ryu. And he wasn't even... He was basically a palette swat of Ken.
And a Hawaiian/Samoan playing E Honda.
Yeah. And so there were a couple of things. But on the flip side, the dude that played Sagat, incredible. The dude that played Mike Bison, a.k.a. Boxer,
And
incredible.
Can we give a shout out to the ageless Ming-Na Wen, who
Yeah,
is Chun-Li? She looks exactly the fucking same now.
She is 54.
She is not
Kylie
aged.
Minogue's Cammy
Kylie
too.
Minogue gets Cammy. How's
Yeah.
this though? Ming-Na Wen played Chun-Li in Street Fighter within 5 years of her being in
Mulan.
no.
What else?
The Oscar award-winning movie. Oh my god, I'm blanking on it. Interns will find that in a second. But it was incredible. She just coming off this big Hollywood high, and somebody talked her into this. Joy Luck Club.
Okay.
It took so many awards.
Yeah.
She was highly praised in
Yeah.
Hollywood. And then she does this. And it was Bananas.
But she was like the fan casting. You guys remember Wizard Magazine? Remember they
Oh,
used
yeah.
to do the fucking fan casting? They did a Street Fighter one, and they picked her to play Chun-Li.
I'll believe it. And you know who wasn't a fan cast?
Who's that?
Van Damme.
No.
I love Van Damme. Don't get me wrong.
No.
Don't get me wrong. But there were other people they could have done that.
But Derek, you're
Preferably
also, Derek,
Americans?
No, you guys are forgetting it was the 90s. Who else? Who the fuck else are you going to get the headline? A martial arts movie.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, he's not a martial artist, though.
No.
And he's also Austrian.
Yeah. So who else? Are you
But
Well,
very
you
popular.
need
in
a
the 90s.
headliner in a big, cheesy martial arts movie, action film. It's the 1990s. Who else are you going to pick
Yeah.
but Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Oh, well, you got the guy who's chin punches people.
Yeah.
Chuck Norris?
Yeah.
As Van Damme?
Oh my God.
Maybe.
Chuck Norris
Chuck Norris
is
as
Van
Guy?
Damme. What-
Maybe.
You heard it.
They're great.
Everybody, you heard it here on Salt
I
Tier
mean, Van Damme
Podcast from the
is-
Soundcasting Network. Chuck Norris, circa 7 is that movie? Would have
Yeah.
been a dream casting.
Wow, yeah.
He probably, it would have been incredible.
He could have played Ryu for like.
Anyway, that was me. Comment on the Facebook or the Instagram if you have any idea of other movies. There are way, way more. We're, of course, also afraid of this Sonic the Hedgehog movie coming out.
I could totally see him as Ryu. Actually, I'm picturing it with the bandana.
He's
and
still
the gi.
brought up on this idea of being Ryu
Oh
for Chuck
my God,
Norris.
there's got to be a Photoshop. There has to be a Photoshop.
Oh, that'd be so awesome.
I am a Ryu.
Nobody would
Yeah, you have a
nobody would
project.
complain either. Like they would be like, "Hey, you whitewashed him." It's like, "Oh shit, it's Chuck Norris." Like nobody would even care.
No.
Oh, Hudson Michaels is saying Jackie Chan would have been a good guile. I'm like, sure. I'll take that. Why not?
His English has got to be better than Van Damme's.
I would have picked him as
You
Fei
know.
Long back then, maybe.
Fei Long would have
Yeah.
been baller.
The
Yeah,
only
Super was
Street
already
Fighter
out.
movie I liked is the animated.
Yes,
number
and that's the
2.
other thing too. The animated one was out like
So
right around the same
good.
time on VHS,
Yeah.
and that shit was fucking fire.
That was-
I
but
watched
Jesus
that
Christ,
and
that
was
cartoon.
like in love.
That had partnership
Yes.
with Capcom.
It was it was
Playing
more related to
the
source
game.
material.
Yeah, especially in the unrated one when you got to see like
Oh my
Chun Li's like
God.
butt all in the shower and
Oh
stuff.
no, it wasn't just butt. She got everything. It was a
Yeah.
shower scene, and she got
Yeah.
attacked
I'm
by
gonna
Vega.
Yeah.
Watch when I get
Sorry,
home.
That shit
attacked
was-
by Claw, otherwise known as Vega.
So yeah, so that was the other cushioning blow. I was able to take the movie not being so good because the animated one was awesome.
Yeah,
So.
I never watched the live action. I just watched the animated
You need
one
to
and
watch-
was like, my childhood was fine. What are you guys talking
You
about?
need to watch that. You need
It's
to watch
pretty
that
great.
live action one. Just
No,
for-
Pretty
thank
great.
you.
No, it's worth watching.
It's
Worth
hilarious.
watching.
Bring popcorn.
It is worth watching. Yes.
Didn't they also make a Tekken film?
They did.
Yeah, yeah,
And
let's-
King of Fighters.
Yeah,
They've
let's not
made.
talk about those ones.
They've tried a lot. We have a lot we could talk about, but we gotta move this on. If you're just tuning in right now, hi everybody. We are the Salt Tier Podcast, the video game podcast from the Soundcasting Network, where your argument is
invalid.
thank you. We've been talking about movies. We've been talking about photography. We talk about how bad me and Sage are gonna do it evil, but we're gonna have fun. Up top, we're gonna be so good at Tekken. We're going for getting around. We're trying to get around at Tekken.
There's some pretty bad scrubs at Tekken. You'll
So
get
I
around.
mean, at least if we end up against each other, we have a pact, right?
Our
a win-win.
pact is only pressing 3.
It's a win-win. It's like when the Bears play the Seahawks for me. It's a win-win. I can't lose that game.
There you go. There you go. But we're gonna move on, and we're gonna go up to some like quick headlines that's going on in the video game universe. And who's talking about Days Gone?
If Mr. Von Shady was here, I'm sure he had some words about Days Gone.
I could talk about it a little bit because this part's cool. The studio that makes this was formerly 989 Studios. If any of you guys remember or are older than like 20 years old, you remember 989 Studios was the first party Sony studio that made NFL Game Day, made Siphon Filter, made
Siphon Filter.
fucking shitty ass fucking Twisted Metal 3, the worst fucking garbage.
That was the worst of
God
all.
damn it, Twisted Metal 3 still pisses me off. It's been like 20 years. But yeah, they made all those games that kind of like helped usher in the PlayStation. They kind of helped them slap Nintendo and them around a little bit with their first party games. Well, that former studio is now whatever the studio is that makes Days Gone. You
I have
guys
no
know?
idea.
Anyway, but it turns out Days Gone is a alternative future sequel of
To Siphon Filter. Yep.
Yeah,
Whoa.
And what is Siphon Filter for everyone that has no idea what that
everybody who's not 20 years old or
is? Yeah, like me.
Keith.
Greatest third-person shooter ever built.
With the
Yes.
greatest voice actor playing the main hero of Gabe.
Yes. Basically, it's a third-person, like runny, like stealthy spying game. really ahead of its time when it first came
So
out.
how soon after Metal Gear Solid did Siphon Filter
It's
come
right
out?
in that. It's right because of Metal Gear Solid. You got
Metal
games
Gear
like Siphon
Solid
Filter.
and what's the other one? The Tom Clancy?
Oh,
Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell,
Those
yes.
were all around the same time, right?
yes. Yeah. So those would be like your big three at that time. You'd have your Metal Gear, your Siphon Filter, and your Splinter Cells. Yep. Actually, Splinter Cell didn't really hit until like the Xbox and like
Yeah.
the PlayStation 2 and stuff. So yeah, but basically it turns out this is it's a sequel, but it's set in an alternate future where they lost, because in Siphon Filter you were like this government agency that was trying to like counter biological weapons and bioterrorism and stuff. So basically this game is literally in that world where they failed in one of those games. So I thought that was
It was
cool.
it was a nice homage.
Very nice. Yeah.
So but then
So that's all I know. That's all I got.
in related gaming news too,
Bioterrorism.
Final
Or
Fantasy VII's
eco-terrorism.
remake just dropped.
And it's a terrible game,
It's
so
a
don't worry
terrible.
about it.
The teaser just dropped.
Terrible game.
Oh,
no one
hell
Cried.
no.
Nobody cried.
This guy.
This
This
dude.
Oh
guy.
my god.
I don't.
He actually called me on the phone and said, "Babe, it's important.
That shit was
Look
so.
at your messages right
Yeah,
now."
I called her up. I was like, "Yo, I need you to look at your messages." And I showed her like the trailer. She's like, "Yeah, I saw this." I was like, "Yeah, but I want you to know." I walked to my car while watching this trailer on my phone, and I cried in my car.
Yeah,
like
dude.
legit cried in my car.
That game looks like, here's a blank check, Square Enix. Like, write any amount and I will pay that shit because I want to play that shit. It's like, here, just
like
Spoilers.
what?
If you have not been here for the last 20 years of your life, well,
at least 20 years.
the game is
We're
22
spoiling it
years
for
old.
you.
Yeah.
If you haven't read a wiki at this point, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, if you're not 23 years old, then you might have missed
you
this
might
a
as
little
well
bit.
get stabbed in the back by Sephiroth.
Yeah,
spoilers.
here's a spoiler. Barrett is black.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, what's this I'm hearing people were flipping out over his voice or whatever? Like,
they said that they made his voice too stereotypically black.
people that those are the people that didn't play it. Those are everybody who's under 23 who never
Yeah.
played the first
It
one.
was like it's people that are like reaching
He's
for
supposed
something
to
that
be
wasn't
like
there.
that.
Like
He's supposed to be like that.
like if they played the original game, like they like censor out the shit that Barrett says.
Okay, for
like,
everybody who's like 18 and under, do you remember the Coal Train from Gears of War? The Coal Train was a spoof of Barrett from like.
and then Barrett was a spoof of Mr. T.
exactly. He's supposed to be like that.
To put some
if you-
context
It's
into
fine.
things,
I mean-
Maniacs. Oh, go ahead, Katarina.
If you've never seen the ghetto, like if you've never actually seen the ghetto, I recommend going out, finding your local place, and then
You're trying to give people jumps.
maybe talk about spoiling
Only
and
podcast that'll get you murdered.
Yeah.
Now that's reaching right there.
see.
Aside from that point,
Social
so
Legal Department does not course.
I'm going to sidestep that and explain. If you ever visit Japan, you'll notice something different about it compared to, like, say, London or LA, New York, even other metropolitan cities like, Rome. And it's it's mostly Japanese national citizens that are, it's 99.9% Japanese people that live in Japan. There isn't a lot of foreign exposure compared to other big cities. Yes, downtown Tokyo has some diversity. But when these small video game companies, and yes, they used to be small, try to find examples of diversity, they have to pull from things that they view, like movies and TV. So when they needed a boxing character in Street Fighter, they got Mike Bison. And yes, he looked exactly like Mike Tyson. So when it came to America, Capcom and the US was like, you literally can't do that. And they flipped all the names and made him Balrog, made Vega Balrog, and made Balrog and Bison. And they had to flip, they flipped all of them.
Oh,
So that's how that happened. So when they made Final Fantasy, yes, they could have had an all Japanese cast, but they wanted to make a international game, and they wanted to have, people from different walks. And they were like, let's get a big, cool, tough
and
black character.
they made the main characters, like people like Cloud and Tifa, very like ambiguous. You didn't know if they were Asian or if they were white. Like,
they're kind of like and they kind of continue that torch now.
Yeah.
Most Final Fantasy mainline characters are Eurasian of looks. For like in Guardians of the Galaxy, Palm Clementif, she's French and Korean. She looks like a Final Fantasy character. You're like, is she? She's kind of Asian in some pictures,
She does
but
look
she
like-
looks super white in other pictures.
Yeah. She looks
So-
like Yuffie.
Yeah, like Yuffie.
oh my god.
Yuffie. But
whatever.
Barrett is Mr. T because they're like, he's like a father type, bigger character, whatever. And that happens all the time. It's not them purposefully mocking it. It's just pulling from what they know. They don't have the exposure that we do in America.
They don't have a lot of African Americans or Africans living in Japan.
Also,
Plus, how many of those people complaining freaking love Dragon Ball Z? I mean, we all see Mr.
Popo?
Mr. Popo. It's fine.
yeah.
It's fine.
Oh,
That-
and Mr. Satan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Satan is absolutely 100% shown off from The Last Dragon. There's no way that wasn't lifted from that. There's no way. It has to be, right?
Wait,
I never put that together.
Sage,
Maybe-
have you never seen what Mr. Popo looks like? She's never seen what Mr. Popo looks like. For the audience out right here,
jeez.
she pulled up Mr. Popo from
She's
Dragon
as
Ball
red
on
as her
Google
hair
Drive.
right now.
She's
It's
like,
a
oh
little
my
rough.
god.
Oh, Kami.
But, nowadays anime is getting a little better, like for a while, like 5 years ago. Yeah, Mr. Satan. So about 10 years ago now, Naruto and Bleach were at the pinnacle of shonens, right? They were hugely popular. Yes, One Piece also.
Yeah.
But when they introduced black and diverse characters, they made them the coolest people in the damn show.
Because they weren't based off of like stuff from like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, because
like
it's
Dragon Ball.
newer. So
Yeah,
when
yeah,
the
yeah.
main character Naruto goes to the Cloud Village, okay, that's maybe a bad example because the first person he meets is rapping, but the Cloud Village, they all look like hard, cool dudes. And then the Espada and Bleach, they're all freaking dope and they're all Hispanic and they have crazy attack names. Things have advanced, is all I'm saying. Like Japan
Barrett
is
is a
different than what it
good
was.
guy.
What?
Barrett's a good guy.
Yeah,
I
leave
know
Barrett
he is.
alone.
Like-
And so is Mr. T.
Everybody just get
Yeah.
over it.
So
It's fine.
He's good. I'm saying that's what they're pulling from, and it's fine. And Final Fantasy VII looks cool. I'm not gonna watch the trailer. I will play it.
Looks
I may or
dope.
may not have a tattoo.
Looks
I know. I was
dope as
like,
fuck.
I saw you have Sephiroth Masamune with
Well-
Meteor back in it. Like,
well, Derek, how many hours do you have in Final Fantasy 15?
150.
Okay, well, just picture that playing style and those graphics with Final Fantasy 7.
well,
shit
they
in.
said that
Yeah.
it's not going to be anything like 15's playstyle
but
either.
But like
It's
how
inspired,
but like
yeah.
how like the UI and everything looks like.
Yeah.
Like think about that. Like,
The UI was
Yeah.
clean.
Yeah. It's like they're not like running around in freeform. They were still kind of
You
like
get
in
to
their little
see-
things.
see-
But still, like just picture that and
you get to see
Yeah.
what someone's presenting gender is. Like I thought Jessie in the original game was a dude. Turns out she's a girl.
No, they specified in Final Fantasy 7 that Jesse's a girl multiple times.
Well, I don't pay attention to that,
You
and
should
I
be-
make up
you
my
should-
own
they should have made it
You
more
story.
should be
obvious.
reading
Turks,
the story.
baby. And then also,
She's not a Turk. She's part
Yeah,
of Barrett's
she's a
resistance
part
force.
oh, that's right, Jesse.
That died.
Jesse. I'm thinking of like. No, I'm not thinking of Rude.
And Aerith.
I'm not
You're thinking of Elena.
you think about Uncle Jesse from
Elena.
Full House.
Because it's Elena, Rude, and Rufus.
Yeah.
And Sang.
Saying. So, Maniacs, this would be way more shocking for me if Advent Children didn't exist as a movie. I'm not saying I'm not excited about Final Fantasy VII the game. I
You
am.
haven't seen it. You haven't seen
But
it.
can you imagine if they went from nothing and then all of a sudden dropped the remake?
Oh my god.
I'm just saying I've seen modern Cloud and Sephiroth already.
Well, we're going to get more news in June. They said that there's going to be
Yeah.
more news soon now. So June's E3, isn't it?
E3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the most just Square Enix thing to put right there. That is just the most Square Enix
If they
thing.
drop a release date, I'm going to be so hyped for June.
No.
But-
Mm-mm.
I know there probably ain't, but I mean, it's a reach. But
That is like at the earliest, that's a launch game for the PS5 at the earliest, and that's like 18 months away.
All right, let's do like these quick little 1-minute topics for the next two because those are. I mean, loot boxes. Bringing it up again. All we need to say is that governments around the world are more and more of them are cracking down on
outlawing
it.
it.
There was a
Yeah.
senator here from Ohio that called that shit out, and meanwhile, Randy Pitchford is like just going ape shit and just digging a hole for himself off that whole microtransactions thing. It's,
Sure.
it's a mess.
It's cracking down, and I believe there has to be. I mean, first and foremost, as a parent, if the parents are really paying attention and involved in their kids' recreational activities, I think that stuff is easy to keep a tab on. It's all of these latchkey parents that kind of leave a kid alone with an open bank account to a game that they play,
Yeah.
and they get burned a month later that are mad that they got.
Well, here's the thing, though. It's like the net is so big. Like the sea and all the fish is so big. They can cast this huge net. You can have like a shit ton of parents on top of it. You're still gonna catch the small fry. You're still gonna catch the anchovies that was on your pizza earlier.
Yeah, buddy.
So like really, that's what it is. It's trying to just like pick up that slack because like I realize that as a parent, like, oh, I have my kids and they're this and I have, but then like when I do any kind of function with them, and Keith can attest to this, your kid is just one of many kids. Like sometimes things happen at school and you're wondering at the teacher, like, how could this happen? And then you go to their school and there's a shit ton of shit happens, dude. Like shit. So same thing with this. Like people can lock their kids down, but there's still gonna be that stuff that falls through the crack. And I think this is what they're trying to account for. I guess.
Children are fucking terrorists.
Yeah, some shit's gonna happen.
Yep.
Like it's gonna happen.
For
So
real.
let's can we fix that a little bit?
All right, next one. Another minute topic. John Wick game confirmed.
I don't have any. I don't have high expectations.
I'm pumped. I'm so excited to see this movie.
I just want to play John Wick where he just raises the dogs on a farm.
Yeah, you want a John Wick?
Virtual
like
reality.
Animal Crossing.
Nintendo dogs.
Yeah.
You want the Nintendo
Specifically with just John Wick.
Just John Wick, though.
Nintendo
And then you
John
see
Wick
people,
version.
and it's like you just shoot them off in the background.
So
Yeah.
there are a couple of games that come to mind when I think of one man army super shooters. We talked about
Max Payne. Yeah.
We talked about earlier. What's that game that we saw at
Resident Evil.
at PAX with the banana?
My friend Pablo.
Yeah, I
that
see
one looks
pictures
like
of
a
that.
Max Payne. I mean, that could be a possible John Wick game. I think it could even be stealthier and
Tomb Raider.
cooler. Tomb Raider, sure. Conker's Bad Fur Day. I'm wondering how they're gonna handle it. We'll see when the trailers start coming out. I don't know how stealthy it's gonna be. I don't know if it's just gonna be gun fu.
Who's doing it? Who's
I don't
working on
even
it?
know. We'll get more details. We'll get our
that-
interns on it. But that was our minute topic. And now sitting at the Sage Bell, who is going to a lovely event later this year and gets to talk about. And now Charmanda's going to start paying attention again.
Hi, Charmander.
Hi, Charmanda.
Okay, I guess I'm going to say this real fast. Well, I'm going to BlizzCon later this year.
Yeet.
Woo!
Yeah.
Friends secured me a badge after 4 years of trying. So that's exciting. Budgeting that and Evo is going to be fun because plane tickets are very expensive.
Oh, and the BlizzCon tickets on top of that are also not very cheap. So
212, I think. Yeah, for
Wait.
2-day convention.
I threw up in my mouth a little.
Wait, for a
It's
round
like a
trip plane ticket?
Disneyland pass.
No, that's
No,
the badge.
just for the BlizzCon ticket.
the
Oh,
badge
okay.
is over $200.
That's fine.
No, round trip one, because Sunday flying back is like $400 airfare. Because you fly into the Disneyland airport and it sucks.
Oh, you mean
Um,
John Wayne.
Yeah, sure.
Yo, hold on. Time out. I'm looking up this John Wick game. You didn't say it was going to be a strategy game, first of all.
Oh, I did not.
That shit is the hot shit. I will definitely take a look at that.
We got Columboed like 4 times tonight.
It's also
One more thing.
It's from the creator of Thomas Was Alone and Volume. Thomas Was Alone won like hella Game of the Year awards like 2 or 3 years ago. Like that's an award-winning game. Like it's a highly rated game. It's a very good, very high. That's awesome that he's working on this. Oh, and it's going to be at least initially on the Epic Games Store only. So that's the only thing.
Oof.
So never mind.
Back to BlizzCon,
Yeah, sorry.
sir.
Sorry, but it was a strategy game.
If you want to vote on whatever costume I decide to make, hit me up and I'll send you my little list of characters I might make. So the best 2 will win.
Can you add your Instagram for us?
You can, I guess, DM me on my Instagram at sagebell_model or DM me at Twitter at sagebell.
Super tight. Hey, did you ever finish the ballerina feather widowmaker?
So that I was going to finish for PAX because I cannot fly with that gun.
That makes sense.
It doesn't break down and it's over 6 feet.
Somebody quote that. I cannot fly with that gun. That should be your Steam head. That should be your Steam quote.
Well,
You cannot
no,
fly with
because,
that gun.
So if you want to check it in, I know they'll let you do it because of surfboards. I went on tour to South by Southwest and all of our baggage was oversized. You just got to go into oversized and pay like a little extra. I don't know if you know other people that have done pieces for costumes and how much it costs.
It's a fragile gun, so I don't want to risk it getting broken.
I kind of want you to get what was the case from Helsing? She had a travel box
Gun
for it.
case? It would be called a gun case.
I mean, yeah, but do you remember what it looked like? It was like a big, hard travel case. I think you would. How good would it be? You go into a rifle shop, be like, "Hi, I need one for this." They're like, "Is this not real?" And you're like, "Nope." They're like, "The case is gonna be a couple $100, but you'll be able to travel with that. Just saying. BlizzCon's gonna be dope. It's gonna be cool. We're gonna get some announcements, I'm sure, from probably just Overwatch. Sorry, HOTS.
Rip.
StarCraft 3? Warcraft 4?
No,
I want a new World of Warcraft.
That's not gonna happen. They're just expanding the universe
No.
more and more.
No.
Yeah, you don't
I
even
want a
play
brand
WoW.
new- Yeah, because I missed out on the first generation.
You don't,
They're
need
just
to,
gonna
you
combine-
don't need to
Not-
play an MMO. You really don't.
They're gonna combine with Willow.
See?
That's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be freaking Willow. Willow.
Okay, but that movie's amazing.
It is.
I think that should be our closing statement.
Heck. All right, and then last two topics because we're getting long-winded at this point. Oh no,
No, we ain't got no time for
yeah,
that. We
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
close it out.
we're out of time. We'll talk about Outer Wilds and Borderlands 3 next week when we hit episode 27, and we're gonna do a real quick round the tables and say bye and a closing statement if you want. This is Loud and Brown. Play games. Be friendly. Don't be a dick. At me at Gross Stuff with a PH. To my left, I have.
Sage Bell, I already told you what to do for hitting me up for that whole costume thing. I want a bunch of people, so I have a little bit more stuff. Be cool. And to my left.
This is Goon PNW. Goon PNW and all of my social media tags. I don't really have anything to say other than the normal stuff of play video games that you enjoy and go to your locals, but also stay hydrated, drink water. And to my
You
left.
do not need that much soda. Yeah, drink water. There you go.
Right.
Did you say
You're
stay
right.
hydrated, bitches? Is that what you said?
Yeah, stay
Basically,
hydrated,
stay hydrated,
bitches.
bitches. What's
Get
up?
good.
Get good too. This is the Saverings. ... I'm gonna be a different person next week because I'm getting a really sick piece of gaming equipment at my house tomorrow. So I'll come back with a full report on that. But I might be a changed fellow next week. So that's all I'll say about that. But
Okay.
hit me up on Steam, I guess. I'm not really on there right now. I'm just fucking around on my computer, just not really playing anything. But yeah, just come back and check us out next week. And to my left.
It's Rena closing the night out. Keep playing games and have a good evening. We're out.
Maniacs, this has been Salt Tier Podcast. We are Salt_Tier Pod on Instagram, Salt_Tier Pod on Twitter, Salt Tier Podcast on Facebook. We will be all set up and dialed in on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. And we'll have all the things. Like, share, subscribe. We have a Patreon that we're going to get cracking. All of the things. Stay tuned. Going to be see you at esports events. Please check out all the other podcasts too, because this has been a beautiful production of the Soundcasting Network. Thank you kindly.
Later, boys and girls.
Spit out fire.
I love you guys.
Later, bitch.